a fundraising to get them tickets, it's up to them. I think it's only that if that happened, probably they think it would be faster. But at the end of the day, if they fundraised for you and you don't have a travel document, you still would have difficulty leaving a country. Because there are certain requirements before somebody travels. So even if money was raised for me to buy for me a ticket, what is my peculiar need? What is it that explains the situation I find myself in there? So even those who would like to fundraise and contribute, at the end of the day, they'll have to go through some assessment of these people. It's not that you get a crowd of Ugandans gathered and you give them money to buy tickets and the next minute they are aboard a plane and back to Uganda. No, 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 no.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
And you will come back home.
Centenary Bank staff this week donated 66 tons of maize flour and over 2 tons of beans to Napak district, who has lost 188 people since the outbreak of hunger in Karamoja. Residents in Lokitede, town council, received the food relief following a bad famine situation in the area.
Was until the season a food basket for Karamoja sub-region owing to its evergreen belts of Apetolim, Iriri and Nabwar that produce food throughout the year. But due to insecurity, many people ran away from the fertile area, resulting into famine that has killed some people. According to Napak district leadership, over 188 people have died due to food scarcity. Napak District Deputy RDC Baraza Moses says the worst is yet to come due to the poor harvest in the last season.
To speak today, the number a little bit accumulated to 188. That shows you that the hunger situation is still there, despite the fact that the government gave food. The little food that the people actually cultivated has been consumed already in the gardens.
Food. At least practice what we call food security. Store some food, because in the nearby future, we may not have these donations coming. Donations are timely, they may be there today, and then tomorrow we don't have them.
Is there. And according to my knowledge, the food that is produced in this green belt is enough to satisfy the needs of all Karamoja. The problem is that this food goes out. When people are in need to pay school fees and in need to buy other necessities, they go and they sell this food at a very cheap price. And you see many lorries coming to Irir, coming to Apetolim, coming to Namaru, and going away with our food at a very cheap price. Then when the need comes after a few months, they get it back, the same food, paying 3-4 times more. So why don't we think really in a systematic way to provide stores, to provide granaries to keep this food? Somebody has.
Eastern Region Manager, Centenary Bank, James Katamba, says they managed to raise 30 million Ugandan shillings for food relief to 600 households in a park.
A campaign dubbed 10,000 shillings for Karamoja. In here, every staff was required to contribute at least 10,000 shillings towards Karamoja, and indeed staff fully responded to the call. It's for this reason that we are here today as staff of Centenary Bank and management. Jointly, we contributed a total of 30 million towards the buying of food.
Deputy RDC Napak Baraza decried high levels of deforestation which have contributed to climate change in Karamoja and beyond.
Vegetation cover. But I believe we as a district, we need to plant more trees so that we have many trees around and we get enough rain.
As a bank, our corporate social responsibility will be directed towards tree planting.
Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander Stephen Tanyui this week urged scrap dealers to desist from vandalism of public and private facilities as they scavenge for scrap. Tanui says the country is bleeding because of vandalism due to the continued cases of stolen electric water infrastructure. He was addressing scrap dealers in Kampala.
Electricity lines and water infrastructure has for a long time allegedly been vandalized by scrap dealers, hence the fear of a total ban of the business by scrap dealers. Uganda Scrap Metal Dealers and Exporters Association attributes the increasing cases of vandalism to laid-off staff of the utilities.
We leaders of the Uganda Scrap Organization and Exporters, we have tried to our level best to sensitize everybody, every dealer, that please don't touch with utility companies' properties, materials, because it is prohibited. It's good some of them have heard our voice. Vandalism is no longer a problem.
A principal security officer, Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited, says there is continued need to sensitize scrap dealers on the dangers of vandalism and how it affects the country.
Now, these guys, the scrap dealers, go cut off these angles. They go and sell for cheap money. The cheap money they sell, they take to the scrap stores. After from the scrap stores, they take to the factories. I think you have seen those factories which make iron sheets, angle lines, and building materials.
Bogere says getting support from the scrap dealers is timely and hoped for the implementation of the law. Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander Stephen Tanui advised scrap dealers to respect the law and not to indulge in vandalism.
We can't do without you. We need you. We need you. This country needs you. You are employing thousands and thousands of people. And you are just government by paying revenue. This is good. Through the years of following minimum, very careful and nail.
Tanui encouraged scrap dealers to interest youth into going back to school instead of being engaged in collecting scrap. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Arua and Gulu cities are to benefit from a $2.4 million government funding with support from the Switzerland government. The Minister for Local Government, Raphael Majezi, this week said this during a meeting with the Switzerland Ambassador Valentin Zalwenga for Uganda here in Kampala.
Financing Durable Solutions Initiative for Forcibly Displaced Persons 2021 to 2025 is a 4-year project funded by the Government of Switzerland and the United Nations Capital Development Fund aimed at supporting the forcibly displaced people in Uganda. Switzerland Ambassador to Uganda Valentin Zalwenga explains more about the project.
These long-standing displaced persons situations, I think we also have to find new approaches, and this durable solutions approach seems to be an extremely promising one. It has been mentioned, we have the 2 projects here in the north of Uganda. I'm also following 2 projects of exactly the same approach in Somalia, which is also under your guidance, so to speak, in Baidoa and Bosaso. But there are new projects that will be launched in Ethiopia, in Sudan, and I heard recently that also in the Great Lakes region, they may also take inspiration from your experiences. So once more, you're at the vanguard of developments, and we personally think, and you know that Switzerland always had, how do you say, refugee issues and politics.
The Minister for Local Government, Raphael Majezi, says the project will help improve livelihoods of the refugees in Uganda and host communities.
We also know that Uganda is one of the most hospitable places in the world, in Africa. Our open door policy is working for us. We regard our brothers and sisters who are here, who are from other countries, as part of us. And so for us, it's not a question of putting them in the camps. It's a question of integrating them in our communities. They have children, they have women. They need services for health. They We need services for immunization and education. We need to focus on their economy in terms of their survival, how they get incomes. The situation of urban refugee brings on board more challenges in terms of a community which does not have land.
Majazi says they are to work with the Ministry of Finance and the two cities that have been chosen to see that the finances are channeled smoothly.
We'll start with signing an agreement between the Ministry of Finance, myself, and the Swiss government. I'm sure the UNCDF will also be there.
The city mayors explain the challenges they have been facing with the refugees and thank the government of Switzerland and the government of Uganda for the project.
Different people are there, all walks of life, from all over the region. They are the great regions. And I think CESA is going to help us a lot. And this support is to target what the local people and the
Justin Nakami for UBC News.
Now, moving on, stakeholders in environment-related fields have appealed for government's intervention in ensuring that climate change-related aspects are respected. This was at a three-day event aimed at managing climate change and food security held at International University of East Africa that attracted members of the academia, small-scale business owners, and environmental stakeholders.
To recognize very many delegations.
As the country struggles with the effects of food security, stakeholders have convened at International University of East Africa to seek solutions to manage food insecurity. That is a cause of hunger in some parts of the country.
Working on innovations, these exhibitors are focusing on what needs to be done. But what is most important is that this symposium is about the indigenous foods that we have in Uganda that have helped Uganda to go through the famines and the droughts simply without as little damage as other countries.
A climate change expert, Dr. Paulo Kulo, says all should be done to avert climate change that often culminates into food security and hunger.
When temperature changes, it also changes the habitats of the living things. So the pests and diseases, there could be the change may make new diseases more viable. For example, recently we have had incidences of locusts, fall armyworm, and African armyworm. All these are coming up because of the changes in the environmental condition of the area caused by climate change. So, leave alone that, even when
the Vice Chancellor, International University of East Africa, Professor Emeka, explained that smart farming agricultural methods could be the probable driving tool towards ensuring that climate change effects are managed.
We are looking at them from what kinds of solutions can we propose. So we have a solution in terms of mitigation solutions, clean energy that we can use to help in agriculture to mitigate the production of carbon dioxide, which damages the environment and as a result is contributing to climate change. So we have the electric tractor, which we are unveiling as one of the solutions. We also have, a farm app called ESOS Farm, which we are demonstrating. It's a USSD-based application that will enable farmers to find a market. So it's a global marketplace.
An official from the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Alex Bambina, explained a series of government interventions put in place to tame climate change.
Where MAIF is handling pillar number 1. That's the production, value addition and marketing. And that is an inclusive model to uplift the 39.5% poor farmers, those who can't easily access credit, to make sure they produce. And there we have identified enterprises which are inclusive and which are nutrition sensitive.
The 3-day Food and Security Symposium is expected to end this weekend, with the resolutions to be submitted to the Office of the First Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Kadaga. Sada Mubale, UBC News.
Thank you, Saddam. Entebbe Municipal Council is concerned over the increase in poor waste disposal by stakeholders in Entebbe that puts residents and wetlands at stake. This was during a meeting in Entebbe Division B this week aimed at forging a way forward on wetland conservation.
Without paying the landlord asked him to vacate. He refused vacating, and instead he attempted to make titles for the place where he was renting. His tenancy agreement expired in August. Instead of vacating and paying the landlord, he decided to make titles, which failed. And when he failed to make titles, he ran to his friends in the army, SFC, and other security organizations to try to help him to take over the place, which is illegal. The landlord used legal means, went to police, and the police director of human resources and the legal affairs wrote a letter directing police to assist him in evicting the tenant. When we sat in a security committee meeting where there was the RDC, the commandant, AVPO police, and DPC, Entebbe police, and other LOCs and security people, we gave him 4 days. We gave him a week. Instead of leaving the premises, he brought Chifes and Kanyama people to resist eviction. We said no, let us do as the law provides. So as you can see behind me, he has been lawfully evicted from the premises and is free to come and collect his properties. I can see they are here. They are going to be guarded very well until he comes and collects his properties.
The Rotary Club of Nkumba, in partnership with Environment Women in Action, a humanitarian organization in Entebbe municipality, this week awarded the less privileged fishing community of Abujiri, Chiwulwe, with a model primary school. The school is meant to enable learners attain quality education and catch up with the rest of the modern schools in Entebbe.
The fishing villages around Lake Victoria, where community members are less privileged due to inability of access to adequate social services. Bujiri village leader Kezimbira Tamale says because of low-level standards of living among fishing communities, education standards and living remain low.
We have classes from baby class up to P5, and according to the standard of this school, I'm very sure that next year we shall have more and more children who will come from other schools.
The Executive Director, Environment Women in Action, who is also a member of the Rotary Club of Nkumba, Margaret Humwire, says the plan to establish Iward Primary School is to enable children in fishing villages access better education.
We have decided that we keep them because we love to keep the trees, we love to teach the people to love their environment, and we pass on a message to the young ones to make sure that they can love their environment and protect it so that it can serve them.
Tuhumwire says most schools around Entebbe are expensive for less privileged communities, and this affects the education levels of children born around lake shores.
We are all aware that the government is offering free education with the universal primary education and the universal secondary education. But I think we are also aware of the challenges that the government does not have enough resources to support this quality education, but they are trying. So to supplement government efforts, we have come in, this is like a charity kind of arrangement.
The Vice President Rotary Club of Nkumba, Michael Murithi, says the club has been engaging in several community projects in and around Entebbe to enhance living standards of the population.
This is a project funded by the Rotary Global Grant to a total of about $82,000. It involved building of 3 classroom blocks and 3 classrooms, an office and flush toilets and a pit latrine comprising of 8 slots and bathrooms for the school.
The Governor Rotary Club International District 9214, Peace Taremwa, held in Nkumba for the noble cause of adding value to Rotary.
Using the words of of one of the parents of this school, I know that we shall have more students, and I pray that Rotary will remain in this school to ensure that what we stand for as Rotarians is kept.
Story compiled by Stephen Kalisha for UBC News.
Still to come is a business, and I'll be right here to take you through that shortly after these messages.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
Quatesimo! Get the 4G smartphone of your dreams today and pay as you use. Choose from the Tecno Pop 5 Pro, Tecno Pova Neo, Samsung A03 Core or Nokia C10 and pay conveniently in daily, weekly and monthly installments for a period of a year using Airtel Money. You will also enjoy free 3 GB and 100% bonus data on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months. Visit any D-Lite shop or select Airtel Money branches countrywide and get one today. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. On to the business activities of some of the top stories of the week. We saw Uganda entrepreneurs encouraged to innovate and invest on research and development in order to attract more customers and boost profitability. While addressing the Consumers' Choice Awards 2022, Francis Mwebesa, the Minister of Trade and Industry, underscored the importance of quality and quantity in stimulating business growth.
The Consumers' Choice Awards seek to showcase innovation, promote locally manufactured products, in addition to recognizing efforts by different brands in different sectors of the economy in satisfying the consumers' needs. On the podium to recognize the best were Francis Mwebesa, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and his counterpart Amos Lugorobi, the State Minister for Finance.
Satisfaction of regional and international consumers starts with first ensuring customer satisfaction within your domestic market. I would like to request all the People's Choice Awards winners to look not only at the Ugandan market, but also to the regional, continental, and international markets, and continue with the good work of satisfying their consumers' needs.
The brands were reminded of their responsibility to know what the consumers want and endeavor to change with the times in order to satisfy their customers and remain relevant. Consumers of a product are the most important people in a company, and without them, the company is nothing.
It means a lot because we found a very competitive market, and to penetrate this market hasn't been easy. It has taken a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of honesty, and a lot of quality assurance, and that's where the game is. So the game is not in the number of stations you have, but the game is in the quality of fuel, because we have 9 depots across the country.
The winners of various categories were thrilled to receive the awards and valued the customers' feedback during the competitive voting exercise.
It's a super delight, and I'm honored to collect this award on behalf of the Reckitt and the Dettol family. We have been in the market for years now, but finally we have made it, and feel so humbled to receive this award because this is truly a consumer choice.
Indomie so far in Uganda has been there for about 5-6 years, and the Ugandan market has been receptive and very positively.
And vegetable growers don't have the same quality seeds as we have in the Netherlands. And that's basically the main reason why I started my business. I think it's a human right that every vegetable grower in the world has the same quality seed as in the Netherlands.
The 2022 Consumers' Choice Awards come at a time when the country is steadily recovering from the adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent business slowdown that led to the collapse and the erosion of the capital base of many enterprises across the country. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
All right.
Thank you, Dennis Sigoa. Now, more from business. Uganda Revenue Authority has re-emphasized the policy of clearing taxes on all used cars at the ports before allowing them to be imported to the country. The authority cited irregularities in paying taxes when the cars are allowed in bonds before clearing taxes.
For many years, car importers have been operating and allowed to pay taxes after selling the imported cars. But with changing trends of taxation, URA introduced a policy where all used car importers have to clear taxes at the port of entry.
But we are saying if the car is completely old, we don't want us to be trapped. We bring a vehicle that is 14 years, then within 1 year again, now we are catching ourselves on the traffic and road safety. So still, years that are not yet 13 years of manufacture, they are used, we allow for warehousing.
Speaking at the official launch of Kabugizi Motors, a commissioner at URA, Baso Garrigan, said clearing taxes at the port of entry will ease the process of collecting and meeting government taxation estimates.
You can execute a memorandum of understanding with the Commissioner Customs and request for installment payment of taxes. And the moment the MOU is signed between you and the Commissioner, then we are able to declare the WT8, which is the transit document, without it paying taxes. You come here, you make your initial payment, and then you continue with your installment payment of taxes from here.
The proprietor of Kabugizi Motors, Benedict Kabugizi, highlighted the URA new policy.
Had quite a number of engagements with them, and they have tried to ease some of the conditions. So you find the clients who have now cars being imported in the year range of 2008 and 2009 can pay taxes from the port, but then those who are in 2011 and above can be able to clear their cars and bring the cars here in custom bonded warehouses and be able to pay taxes after some time.
Kabugizi says the policy will solve the problem of delayed payment of taxes because the importation shall depend on the demand of the customer.
It's another thing to know whether you maintain that car or it falls within the specification that you really want, or what if it will serve the purpose. Okay, someone will come and say, I want a family car. Then you come and say, I want a car for starter. So after having done a thorough assessment of your needs, we will select the car. Then we go to payments. We'll do a TT to Japan.
The Microfinance Support Center this week disregarded claims by some members that the Emyoga program has failed. They said much as some circles are not doing very well due to group challenges, others have excelled and have been able to win additional 20 million to further boost their initiatives. The Microfinance Support Center is currently preparing the circles for a permanent registration with the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives.
Launched in August 2019, the Presidential Initiative on Wealth and Job Creation, Emyoga program seeks to transform the 68% of homestays from the subsistence market-oriented production to the money economy. At least 678 circles were mobilized in Achole and Lango sub-region on a 24-month probationary registration certificate issued by the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives. With the most certificates due to expire in June next year, Microfinance Support Center, a lead implementer of the program, is currently preparing circles for a permanent registration.
Our capacity has been built today. We can now go back to our different circle and implement what they have given us today.
Not every circle is going to be registered at once. We are selecting on a case by case. Whatever circle is performing to our expectations right now has already been forwarded. And the next step is assessment.
Mebo Nabanda, the zonal manager Microfinance Support Center, dismissed the claim by some people that the program has failed.
Emyoga has never failed. Actually, circles are getting additional seed capital now. On the circle selected today, we have like 5 already. We have received additional 20 million. Not all circles are performing at the same level, but even those that are poorly performing, we are not giving up on them. We are giving them a hand to make sure they come back to life.
Finally, Apache Municipality veteran circle member Patrick Otile says they have been able to grow their income through the seed capital. He says besides income, the initiative has also offered employment and skills training to a number of youth.
We carry all types of trades that we can do as veterans. There are people who are buying produce, there are people who are dealing in poultry and livestock generally, there are people who are molding bricks, there are people who are doing other sorts of trade.
We have received the money, 30 million as the seed capital. We are giving out, people that are bringing back. We are doing well. We are very happy.
All excelling Emyoga circles will receive additional 20 million to boost their initiatives. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Well, those are some of the top stories we had for you during the week. Thank you so much for being a great viewer. It's been a pleasure spending time with you. Please make time once again during subsequent news bulletins of the hour later on in the day for more updates as far as our nation is concerned and, of course, across borders. My name is Sandra Kahunde, and from the entire team behind the scene, wish you a beautiful Sunday and a blessed week ahead.